Good day, everyone. I just wanted to come to you today and really just ask you guys to be in prayer for this individual, for this family, because this is how deep the rabbit hole is going, and it's becoming more and more open and more severe, and it's all in our faces, and we have to become a voice in the wilderness for these kids and protect our kids from what's happening. If you know anything about what's happening up in Canada, they are now actually penalizing families, and they're actually able to take away the kids if the kid is struggling with their gender and they choose to proceed with gender transition, quote unquote. Then they can actually be taken away from that family if that family opposes those type of treatments. So it's really becoming crazy. And if you think that Canada is the only place where this is going to happen, is going to filter down to the North America. So just brace yourself for what's happening. And if you realize that this is truly against God, this is against God's kingdom, this is against God's design, this is against God's rule, this is against his word. And the enemy is specifically going after the next generation as it relates to sex and sexuality and perverting what God created as a holy action, as a holy thing between a husband and wife in a married, committed relationship. But this is what's happening, because if you can break down the family, then you can break down the community, and then you can break down the nation, and it weakens from the inside, and it causes a nation to crumble. But this is what's happening. And unfortunately, the far left has went so far as to involve children into this foolishness, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we have to pray. We have to muster up the strength and get off of our comfort boxes and actually confront the enemy and actually go out there and protect our kids. Because when you think of the abortion movement, they are actually doing a lot of things, and they get together by the droves and do some really big things. But when it comes to this right here, dealing with the LGBTQ, because there's so much confusion with regards to whether this is right, whether this is wrong, the perverting of the scriptures, then this is what happens, because people then begin to try to use the Bible to justify that lifestyle, or the Bible has been used to beat people up. And so there's this area where people don't know what to do. But the truth of the matter is that God's word is clear. And yes, we are to love individuals, but we also give them the truth in love, because we're all sinners and we all need God's grace. And with that, God is able to change us from the inside out, that we live according to his word and try to do right. That doesn't mean you're perfect, but you try to do right. But let's get to this video right here, because I want you to see what is happening. And I am going to start the video here. Watch this video. It literally broke my heart when I saw this, because it just shows you how deep and how demonic it's really becoming. It really shows you how bad the situation is really getting. And I'm going to narrate. He's saying, if that you have parents that do not agree with you doing drag, then you need new parents. If you have friends who don't agree with you doing drag, dressing up in makeup, then you need new friends. As you can see, the child is 8 years old, and he's become a superstar. He's become I guess you could say, an internet sensation, and he goes by the name of Lactacia. And with that name of Lactacia, of course, that's a play on the word of, lactating, which is something that a female does when she has children. So yes, so anyone, but yeah, it's ridiculous. So here you see him with a drag queen. He's up on stage, and this was in Montreal, I believe. He's at a drag show, and this is a tour put on by Bianca Del Rio. Bianca Del Rio is a really big drag queen, and in this scene, actually, you can look up the video. I will leave a link below. But in this scene, the drag queen is actually talking about how proud she is, how proud he is of this 8-year-old boy performing drag, and how proud of how he is of the parents also being there as well to support. And so this goes to show you that the parents are playing part in this. And for your parents to play part in something of this nature, it is really almost like child abuse to me, because this boy doesn't even understand what is going on. And the enemy is so wrapped up in this, and how the enemy is getting this child's mind. And if you look at right there, and there's the mom right there. She has a nose ring, tattoos, and so forth, and she's painting her son. And she has, you see all the tattoos on her back, on her chest, and this and that. And so, yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything about tattoos, but That's for another video. But he's painting, she's painting her son's face and talking about going on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And in one article, the boy actually talks about hopefully, well, they were talking about hopefully going to the Ellen DeGeneres show, and that would be a dream of his to actually meet Ellen DeGeneres. They're the parents, and as you can see, this is sponsored. This is really put on by the LGBT community, and they are really pushing this. And you can see some of the things that, look at the father. He has the nose rings, he has the earrings. Now, the young boy actually goes to a Vogue competition. As you can see, I've actually been to one of these competitions when I was in that world, but this is what they do. The boys do the death drops, and they drag and act like girls, dress like girls, dance like girls. It's all a part of the Vogue scene, the voguing, and all of that. And of course, it's huge now. It's really huge. All the celebrities, the big performing celebrities like Janet, even I think. Beyonce, yeah, Beyonce uses a lot of the quote-unquote the kids in her videos and so forth. And there's the boy right there. And if you see the man back there on the stage, who's actually the MC of the show, he's calling him girl, he's calling him, and actually in the video, when you watch it, he'll say, "You better effing work. You know, you better effing," he kept saying that over and over, girl. He called him a girl and using the F word, and they are just congratulating him. And his parents are there, as you can see. He's picking up the ways of a girl. Say, these are learned behaviors. This is not how this child was born. These are learned behaviors. And right now, the spirit of what's going on is actually attaching itself to that child. The spirit of what's going on is actually attaching itself to that child. And this is how it happens, guys. There's no born this way. There's no someone made you like this. This is how it happens. A lot of this is inflicted. A lot of this is indoctrination. A lot of this is brought on by the environment that you are raised in. And granted, there are some people who are born with maybe just a little bit more femininity or more masculinity because of whatever issues that may have went on intrauterine within the womb of the mother. But at the same time, God has a standard, and simply because you are suffering with something that that may be a quote-unquote abnormal, that does not mean that you are born this particular way, to present this way, and also to act out in this particular way. So there are ways that can be handled, and we can mature into the ways that God designed us. But with that being said, as you can see in the video, this is really sad, and this is where it's coming to. Everybody, this is where it's coming to, and we can't dance around it. We can't prance around it. The church has to be an active vocal voice in speaking up against these wrongs against our children. I mean, they're coming against your children, and this is where it's going right now. The schools have been infiltrated by the gay agenda. The music industry they are using these celebrities to push the homosexual agenda. They are, anything that shows a strong masculinity is being mocked. If you look on the shows nowadays, all the shows shows the father as being a bumbling fool, an idiot, and that he no longer knows how to lead the family, and that actually children have the best answer for everything. And it's really sad. It is really sad of what's going on, but this is the world today. And unfortunately, and people don't like to hear this, and they don't agree with it, but when Obama did what he did, he opened up the floodgates. Now, the stuff was already bubbling under, and it was already coming to a head, but when he did what he did on that show with Robin Roberts and all of this gay agenda and so forth, he opened up the spiritual floodgates, and now this is what we're dealing with. And he has done so much for the homosexual agenda. And it's amazing how the black church still continues to support him no matter what. All right, y'all. Just pray for this family. I'm going to leave links up under there. Pray for this family. Pray for this young man. And for those who may have family members dealing with them, pray for them. That's the most that you can really do, because you can't make anyone stop doing what they're doing, but you can pray. And we can stay on our knees before the Lord and watch God work, and pray that God has grace and mercy on them just as much as we all need grace and mercy ourselves. All right. This is James from the Free Project. Remember, Jesus Christ is Lord. Peace.